This is another Lifetime movie based on the true story of Laura Cowan. It can be triggering, so beware. Laura has just moved to California from Cleveland. She's only 24 and is looking forward to living her life in a new city. One day, she sees a man sharing the word of God on the streets. The man's name is Shabazz. After a small chat, Laura agrees to meet him by the weekend to learn more about what he's preaching. Shabazz is a kind man and always does his best to do something for the community. This has piqued Laura's interest, and the two start dating soon. After 4 months, Shabazz is sure that Laura is the one for him and proposes to her. Swept off her feet, Laura says yes. 9 years later, the couple has gotten busy and have 2 children, Miriam and Ahmed. They live a simple life and get just enough money from Shabazz's bookstore. Laura feels so blessed and lucky to have such a loving and fine husband that cares for her. Girl, what's it like to live my dreams? Little does she know that everything's about to change. All is well until Shabazz receives a request from some friends. A few days later, he is arrested for trafficking illegal firearms. It turns out that his friends had asked him to store some guns for them. And even though he always had suspicions, he looked away and helped them. Now Shabazz tells Laura that he is guilty for what he did, and he wants to set a good example to his son by taking responsibility for his actions. Without Shabazz by her side, Laura is soon hit by financial problems. She can't run their bookstore alone and look after the kids at the same time. A few days after, a man named Musa approaches Laura. Musa claims he's good friends with Shabazz, and they have worked on some of the community projects. He's worried about Laura and the kids and wants to check on them. I would not trust a man who is hiding his balding head. Laura's sister asks her to come home, but Laura wants to be close when Shabazz finally gets out, so she chooses to stay. However, the bills continue to pile up, and Laura is forced to close down the bookstore to get the money she needs. Seeing how badly she struggles, Musa offers his own home to Laura and her kids. Laura accepts the kind offer and packs her things. As soon as she meets Musa's children, it becomes evident that the children are terrified of their father. Even Musa's wife, Marva, is quiet most times. Laura learns that all of Musa's children are homeschooled, and he wants the same for Ahmed and Miriam. Knowing they are just guests, Laura tells the kids they have to make some huge adjustments. One day, Laura takes all the kids to the front porch to play. It's nothing serious, but Musa quickly calls her out. He insists that the kids are following a strict schedule and mostly studying about religion, and Laura is interfering with that. Seeing how sad the children are, Laura believes that she's sent there by God to bring some light to the family. But she soon discovers the darkness seeps deeper. One night, Musa refuses to feed his daughter to punish her. Feeling sorry for the kid, Laura tries to feed her only to discover that the fridge and cupboards are chained and locked. Musa stands by his decision, insisting that the kids need discipline. When shopping for groceries, Laura sees that Marva is using food stamps, so she offers to help by finding a job and contributing to the family.
Like you helped your husband with his business?
I'm about to slap this man so hard his cap is going to fall off. Musa rejects her offer and insists they will do just fine by using food stamps. After a few days, Musa becomes controlling not only of the kids' behavior, but of Laura's as well. He catches her talking to their neighbor, Wendy, and tells her they don't really socialize with others as much as possible. Since Laura is receiving some welfare assistance, she gets to cook food for her kids. One time, Musa's children ask her for food because they are hungry, and it's not yet their time to eat. Laura feels bad for the kids and offers all of them something to eat despite having so little. Everyone is happy until Musa comes home and catches them eating. He grabs a wooden oar and scolds the kids for eating out of their schedule. He breaks the plates on the table and lectures the kids about gluttony.
Did you eat like a glutton? Are you stuffed with sin?
Yes, sir.
Laura tries to defend the kids only for Musa to tell her to back off. Seeing how worrying Musa's behavior is, Laura talks to Marva the next day. But Marva believes that God is speaking directly to her husband. That's the devil speaking. Feeling lost, Laura plans to see Shabazz soon. But Musa stops her from leaving, saying that he already talked to Shabazz. Apparently, Shabazz doesn't want Laura visiting him in jail. According to Musa, Shabazz is putting Musa in charge of her well-being. After that, Musa takes Laura's money to help with the bills. Feeling trapped, Laura decides it's time to leave. Musa wants to discipline her kids, and there's no way she will allow that. But Musa reminds her that she doesn't have any money, car, or place to stay. He thinks that Laura has failed her job as a parent, and that's the reason they are struggling right now. One night, Musa finds out that he's missing one pack of potato chips. Furious, he checks the children's mouths to find who among them is the culprit. He's annoyed when he discovers Ahmed hiding the chips in his pocket. Laura puts herself in the middle to save her son, so Musa hits her hard across the face. Talk about gluttony, because being this angry over chips is crazy. After what happened, Laura tries calling her sister to ask for help, but Musa catches her in the act, and Laura's plan fails. With no one to rely on, Laura continues to write in her journal and asks help from God. Seeing it as nothing but a waste of time, Musa takes the journal and hides it from Laura. A few days later, Musa comes into Laura's room and orders her kids to get out. Sensing what is about to happen, Laura begs Musa to stop, but he ignores her pleas and forces himself into her. Then he claims that Laura is now his wife. Laura gets pregnant, and when she's so close to giving birth, Musa moves the entire family to a more secluded area. He has also thrown most of Laura's things without permission. Musa has decided that Laura will deliver the baby at home with the help of Marva, but because she suddenly bleeds, he has no choice but to take her to the hospital. At the hospital, Laura gives birth to a baby girl she named Tass. She tries asking a nurse for help, but Musa returns to the room before Laura can even do anything. He warns Laura not to try something like that again, or he will take the baby away. Because there's one more mouth to feed, Musa makes Laura sign a request for welfare assistance. One day, Ahmed gets into a fight with one of the boys. Laura gets angry when she learns that Musa has tolerated the fight. She snaps and calls Musa evil right to his face. She hits a nerve, and Musa once again claims that he's getting direct orders from God. Laura refuses to accept this and tells Musa he's only twisting God's words. Finally realizing that Laura will never bend to his will, Musa comes up with another drastic decision. In the middle of the night, Musa takes the baby away against Laura's will. He insists that he has the right to do so. Then he drags Laura and her kids into the garage and locks them there as punishment. Because they're not allowed to leave, they are forced to use a bucket as a toilet. On the 6th day, Musa lets them out at night just so they can empty the buckets. They have no choice but to eat what Musa gives and follow his strict schedule. On the 16th day, Musa takes Laura's journal to her, only to tear it apart. Laura puts the torn pages together and reads the message her husband wrote her before. Strengthened by the hope of getting out someday, Laura searches the garage for a pen and some papers and begins to write about the whole ordeal. She tries distracting the kids, but sometimes she can't protect them from Musa's evil deeds. Every now and then, he enters the room and takes advantage of Laura. One day, Laura finds an old tape recorder and starts to record Musa's activities. She is hopeful that someday they'll be able to use it against him. On the 83rd day since they are locked in the garage, Musa asks Laura to buy some groceries. Marva is sick, and he needs Laura to get the food they need. However, he's going to accompany her, and they're going to leave the kids in the house. At the grocery store, Laura makes an excuse to use the restroom. She tries to write a message using a pen she has found in the trash, while Musa waits outside the door. But the pen no longer works, and Laura realizes she won't be escaping today. On the 98th day, Musa enters the garage with a knife in his hand. He tries to force himself on Laura again, and when she fights back, he accidentally stabs her feet. Laura begs to be taken to the hospital, but Musa says it's better for her to bleed to death. Worried that she'll die with no one to look after her kids, Laura shows Ahmed where her notes and the tapes are hidden. On the 106th day of their captivity, Laura overhears a noise outside. She watches in horror as Musa locks another woman in the room right next to where they are. The woman is Zara, and she says that Musa beat her up and locked her in a room. He also threatened to hurt her son. Laura consoles her and encourages her to have faith. On the 137th day of their captivity, Musa needs Laura to sign some papers. They have to get the food stamps, and since it's Laura who made the request, she has to get them herself. While getting ready, Laura quickly makes a note about her situation, saying they need rescuing. Then she hides the note under her dress. Musa warns Laura not to pull any stunt because he won't think twice to shoot her. But as soon as they arrive, a man named Reggie recognizes Musa and greets him. Musa threatens Laura and orders her to behave well. However, while Musa is distracted, Laura hands her note to the clerk. She is terrified and can only hope to receive the help she badly needs. Later that night, 2 police officers arrive at the house looking for Laura. Musa grabs his gun before taking Laura to the officers, warning her not to do anything stupid. One of the officers pulls Laura outside and verifies if she was the one who wrote the note asking for help. Despite being scared, Laura confirms it was her. Musa immediately closes the door and looks for the kids in the garage. Lucky for the police, they manage to stop Musa before he finds the children. While there, the officers also free Zara and her son. Musa is so furious, and he swears to kill Laura when he gets out of prison. Now that Musa is gone, Marva and her kids are also rescued. Laura is grateful to hold Tas again. After some time, Shabazz gets released from prison and meets his family again. He accepts Tas and loves her like his own. However, Shabazz dies of a heart attack 1 month after he gets out. Laura and her kids return to Ohio, where Laura extends a helping hand to those who are survivors of abuse. Musa was sentenced to 7 consecutive life sentences, thanks to the evidence that Laura provided. Laura has survived the ordeal and is now living a happy life where she continues to help others. We can only hope Musa is experiencing the same pain he caused. What a truly heartbreaking story, even having Shabazz die only a month of having his freedom. What did you guys think of this true story, and should we cover more like it?
Hey, if you like this video, make sure you subscribe now and turn on the notification because YouTube isn't recommending my videos. And if you'd like to watch more foolishness, click here or here.